All right, you are listening to The Huddle with Dave Wyman, Michael Bumpus, Stacey Ross, and right now, star of the show is going to be Quandre Diggs. Quandre, how's it going?
It's good. It's good. Thursday, that's really a Wednesday, but I'm enjoying it. So we're going to have some fun today.
Good. I want to talk about the team. I want to talk about you. I do kind of inadvertently need to talk about another teammate, though, because you're hilarious on Twitter. You made a joke about Witherspoon, and you
Mm.
said, shout out to Little Teaspoon, really proud of his game. He
Right.
had he had a great week.
Right.
What have you made of his start to the season?
I think it's been great. I think going into a hostile environment that he went in week 2 and he was 10 toes down. He was ready to go. Nothing phased him. Nothing ever phased him. They had to get a trick play to get open on him and to bounce back week 3, go out there, be amazing. Doing the things that he's been doing when he's been practicing. So it's not surprising. I remember when we drafted him, how excited me and Jamal was because he was like, he add another dog to the room. You could just tell from his tape. You could tell how he carries himself, and nothing phases him. That's just who he is.
Yeah.
You guys have had some backups in on the defense side of the ball. Still been playing well, in my opinion. I know people look at the numbers and they can let that influence. But if you look at the film, I see every week you guys are getting better.
Right.
What's it going to feel like when you got all of your ones out there? How exciting is that going to be?
I mean, it's gonna be dope. I think we haven't gotten even a taste of it because even in camp, Maul was down. So it's gonna be fun. I think the guys that haven't been able to play with him or play beside him, I don't think they understand. The intensity, the juice that he brings to a team. That he might not even make a play, and he's freaking celebrating like he made the play. And it just brings juice. It brings that added fun to the game. And you throw in his playmaking skills. Whether that's the big hits, the sacks, the pass breakups, all those things, and you bring a 3-time All-Pro into the mix, and it gets real busy, it gets real sticky, and it gets real hard to go against us.
I was looking at, there's 10 guys or so that you guys have in your defensive backfield. Jarek Reed maybe being the guy, maybe doesn't get a lot of reps, but it seems like everybody else. I mean, you got Trey Brown, Michael Jackson, and you're, as everybody says now, multiple. You got all kinds of
Right.
guys that can play out there in different configurations, right? You
Right.
got guys that can play. I don't remember a defensive backfield that looked like that, like the versatility of a guy like Kobe Bryant,
Mm-hmm.
for example. That's got to be nice to know that everybody can pretty much do anything
Yeah.
in that defense.
That's the fun part. That's where now we can get to the part where quarterbacks have the ID and what we're in, who's who's going to blitz, who's not going to blitz. What side is which. So I think that's cool, and I think we'll be mixing it around a little bit more, and we'll be having fun with it. So I think we did a little bit last week. It's going to be added each week, each day. We're going to go and we're going to take those steps.
Bit of a random question, but who do you think, and you can include yourself if you want, but who do you think is maybe one of the most underappreciated guys on this team when it comes to recognition from the rest of the NFL?
I mean, I think for sure it's always Locke. And like I said, we've had this conversation so many times where, you put his numbers up against the best, and he's right there with the best. And happy birthday to him, by the way, too. But it's consistent as he is year in, year out. I don't understand why he continues to get underappreciated. Me and him, we feel like we're in the same boat.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to say number 6.
Yeah,
You could.
I could, but I think for me speaking in this moment is definitely Locke. I think for me, I've got the Pro Bowls and things like that. I haven't gotten the All Pros and all that, but for him not even be getting Pro Bowls and things like that, I think that's a disgrace to his game, and I think sometimes he's overshadowed. Don't get me wrong, there's great receivers in the league, but I think to be the best and to be considered the best, you have to be consistent. You got to do it for such a long period of time, and he's been doing it for so long, so well. Why not? Why isn't he considered one of the best? And like I said, we can say the same thing about myself. You put my numbers up there, my numbers with the best of them, and been doing it for a long time. Ever since I moved to safety, it's been consistent. Since Locke has been a full-time receiver, he's been doing it consistently. So I think he's definitely the most underappreciated guy on the team.
I agree. Put some respect on that, man, for
Yeah.
real. Last week, when I found out Bryce Young wasn't going to be playing, I go, man, he's going to pose a bigger threat. Now, I don't think you guys prepare differently, right? Their game plan is the game plan. They're not going to open up a new playbook for another quarterback.
Right.
But you played against Andy Dalton before. Did you expect a change in the execution, or how do you approach that as the leader on the back end when you know a veteran's coming in who's probably going to make some plays a young cat wasn't going to make?
Right. Well, for me, I think I was more about getting myself ready to play.
Right.
From not practicing last week, so I wasn't really worried about Andy Dalton. I'm more of like, am I going to be able to play? But I think if it was a regular week, you just know as a vet quarterback, he's going to take what's there. He's not going to force anything. Probably not going to get too many interceptions off a guy like that because he knows where he's going with the ball. But the game plan isn't going to change. It's, they run a certain route where, a rookie quarterback might think he can throw the 7 cut and think it's open, but Andy Dalton knows cover 3 and the 7 is covered, and he's just going to throw the little spot and get 5 yards and continue to keep the drive going. So it's more of a game manager deal, and those are quarterbacks. For myself, I don't like playing because, I want guys slinging it around the field,
Right.
throwing the ball deep, and, I can go make plays on the ball. But, it kind of gets boring when the backup quarterbacks play because they do everything right.
Right.
And for me, that's kind of boring. Yeah, safe
Yeah.
is boring
Just
for me.
hand it
So,
off.
yeah. So I think that's what kind of changes for me. So I think for me, I'd rather if Bryce Young would have played because I was seeing him throwing some interceptions on film, and I'm like, well, it's my opportunity to go get me one.
Right.
But, you live and you go, and you just hope that, like we had, our D-line was killing, and you get him off a spot, and, he throw the ball away, he throws some errant throws, and he threw the ball 58 times. He's been in the league 12, 13 years, and that's the most he's ever thrown the ball. So we made him one-dimensional, and I think even at the end of the game, we could stop that touchdown and keep him to 20 points. I think everybody looks at it a little different.
Yep.
Quandre, you seem like the sort of the regulator in that group of your young guys. You got a mixture. You got Jamal, who's a little bit older. And I'm just curious about some of the personalities. I was in Germany with the team last year, and I was on a 25-minute bus ride. And Reek Woolen talked the entire way from the practice field. And it's just hilarious listening to him, the way he talks and
Yeah.
everything. But who are some of the guys? I just think he's hilarious.
Yeah, he's annoying.
That's one. It's hilarious. It's a word.
That's what Carl Scott, we were on the elevator, and Tariq got on the elevator. He's talking the whole time up, and Carl looks at me and goes, rookies. Yeah.
He just don't shut up. He's good. It's a time and a place for everything, but he definitely doesn't shut up.
But he's not like, it's not like he's bragging or being cocky or anything like that. He's just talking.
Just to talk and hear himself and annoy everybody, and just imagine playing a video game with him and you on the mic and he's just talking nonstop. You know what I mean? And that's just him. You know what I mean? He could be anything. We could be sitting in a room and he just having a conversation about nothing that has to do with anything people's talking about. So
Just the best is people that are like, it's raining today. You know what I was thinking about the rain? And you were like,
Yeah.
I don't need to know
Well,
what you were thinking
The
about the
thing
rain.
that was funny is DK and Tyler were back there. They were the only 3 players because we were doing interviews and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And they just sat there and let him talk. They didn't say anything.
I mean, what do you expect out of Locke? DK, all DK is gonna do is wait for you to say something crazy so he can laugh at you. But Locke, he's just gonna let you talk. He's not gonna say anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, our DB room is. I mean, if we had a TV show with this DB room, it probably would be a hit.
Who would be the
Because-
surprise? Like, who would surprise people at either how funny, how loud, how random? Like, when you have the friend who's quiet, but they're like an assassin? Like, they'll just deliver a joke where you're like, where was that?
I mean, the funny one that people don't really know is probably Artie. Artie's real funny because he just does some crazy stuff. But a sleeper would definitely have to be Lance Boykin because
Ooh.
people don't understand. Like, he is the most confident dude. I don't know if it's false confidence or real confidence,
But it's
like
there.
he's the most confident dude ever, and that's just how a DB room is. So I just kind of sit in the back of the room, and I tell my wife all the time, like, yo, I leave work and come home leave work and I have like 15 kids at work, and then I come home and I got my own 2 kids at home. I just never get a break from kids. So,
we had Jarek Reed on last year, and so I just remember when guys would come in, rookies, and I'd be like, maybe you sound like you're trying to sound like a salty vet.
Yeah.
I love Jarek Reed. He's a great kid. It was a great interview. But I thought of you because, he was like kind of talking like he did a great job.
Yeah.
But it was almost like if I was playing with him.
he definitely thinks he knows more than what he knows. And, you just kind of let him talk, and you just let the rook. But at the end of the day, he's a rookie, and rookies don't know anything.
All right. I'll go ahead and let that end the interview. He is Quandre Diggs, kind enough to join us for the huddle. Quandre, thank you so much.
Thanks,
We
Quandre.
appreciate it.
No
All right, you
problem.
guys, do not go anywhere.